Hello and welcome back to another episode of Consume Conversations. Today we're going to be continuing our theme of food. We've previously had Simon Fogel for Leads into Food and Chowdown, Lucas from Turtle and Hare talking about branding, and Itza talking about pizza and his transition from a science degree to pop-up food owner. Today we're going to be chatting with Rik from Kricket. I'm just going to add Rik to our live now. Just waiting for to join. Hi.
Hey, how you doing?
Good, thank you. And we can hear you, so this is all running swimmingly.
Good. Hopefully you can't hear my dog in the background.
Oh, we do enjoy a dog though.
She's quiet at the moment.
So earlier this year, we did a little bit of work with Kricket through referral from one of our Duke family who were previously downstairs. So we were helping you guys look at your already established marketing plan. But if you want to tell us a little bit about Kricket, how it came to be, how yourself and Will came to kind of set up Kricket and what type of cuisine it is and all the important bits.
Yeah, well, so Kricket is a collection of modern Indian restaurants in London. We have 3 restaurants, one we started in a shipping container in Port Brixton in June 2015. Prior to that, Will and I were at university back in sort of 2010 together. He went off to be a chef, a very good one, trained in London and then lived in Mumbai for a couple of years. I went off to the city and worked for Deloitte for 3.5 years in corporate finance. So when we kind of came to a natural end of those jobs, we got coffee and started talking about things. I always wanted to kind of get back into the hospitality business. I'd been doing a lot of events and stuff at university. So we had a chat on I remember a coffee on Portobello Road back in 2014, and then a year later Kricket was born. So it feels like a long time ago now, but that's the short story.
Am I right in thinking you did cocktails as well? Because when we were looking at the brand, you were meant to be the cocktail specialist.
Yeah, I think when we started, we were branded as small plates and cocktails, and that was correct in the shipping container. But our brand has evolved a lot since then, and while I'm very proud of our drinks offering, it's very much more of a food focused offering, and the drinks, whether it's cocktails, wine or beers, just complement that. So yeah.
Nice. I'm just going to refer to we have a bit of an organisation this week. So one of the reasons I wanted to chat to you guys was, is about how Kricket has changed over the course of the pandemic. So obviously, none of us saw it coming.
Yeah.
So we've all had to kind of pivot, which is a good lockdown phrase. But I was really interested and pleased to see how you kept going and changed the business over the course of the time. So do you want to share a little bit about shutting down, reopening, and then the new offering and how that's changed?
Yeah, certainly in terms of it, none of us saw us coming. It was so late, with hindsight, it seems so silly now that we didn't see this coming. But I remember being at an event in Amsterdam in February, a restaurant event, an industry event with a lot of serious people there, and no one was talking about it at all. There wasn't one mention of it. And even an industry magazine that I get monthly, I've got the March issue in my flat, which obviously they release in February. I think that's what they do, magazines, and there's no mention of it whatsoever, even in the March issue. So yeah, it came out of nowhere really, but it shouldn't have done probably. And so we closed all the restaurants, and I think it was the 17th of March now, for till sort of mid-May, when we came back and started doing delivery. We kind of trialed delivery before lockdown, but then we went to full lockdown. We sacked it off because it just didn't make financial sense, or from a health and safety perspective, it wasn't the right thing. But I think whilst we were sort of gearing up to come back in May. I must have rewritten our business model about 5 times. So yeah, we certainly have pivoted and changed to some degree. I mean, I always say, we never did delivery before, and it wasn't something that interested us. So I don't think we would have done it, but I always say, now we are doing it. It took us a pandemic to do delivery, and it's been quite successful. So we came back in mid-May, ran delivery from our Brixton and White City sites to start, because central London was just dead zone. We were amazed by how the success rate of it, and particularly in Brixton. I mean, it's crazy, really, the amount of delivery we were doing. White City was solid as well, and we were doing a few other projects out of that, meal kits and various other bits, some charity work as well.
I think it's key to note as well with the Kricket experience, because especially where I went down to Soho, and you sit at the bar, and that it's an open kitchen, so you really experience the theatre of the guys cooking, which is very much like how it is when you're in Asia and you go and eat street food, you actually see the chefs cooking it. So I think that's a big part of the brand. So to go to delivery, I can kind of understand why you had the reservations.
Exactly. I mean, all our kitchens are open kitchens. It's all about the theatre and the fun. Also our food doesn't particularly travel that well. So if you look at the delivery menu we've created, it's short, concise, quality, but it's more traditional. Like, all the mains are curries, and but it's well delivered, well packaged. It travels well. We've got a couple of our signature dishes in there, sort of bell puri and the fried chicken, and one curry dish. But otherwise, it's not like the restaurant menu. So and we couldn't do the restaurant menu on delivery. So it works well. It doesn't cannibalize people coming into the restaurants now, and also it actually encourages people to come to the restaurant. We've got people coming in now saying, "Oh, we tried your delivery. It was really great. We never heard of you before, and now we're coming to the restaurant." So it's been a game changer for us. And when we reopened Brixton as a restaurant, it just doesn't have the capacity to be able to do that level of delivery and the restaurant. So it's been our biggest success story down there. So we now have a delivery-only kitchen in Clapham, which basically acts for Brixton. It's 10 minutes down the road.
I mean, that's just such a good success story, that you'd not done delivery before. It took the pandemic to happen, but actually it's encouraging people to go, because actually it's such a successful restaurant. It's hard to get in. I had to disappear to the pub and come back. I think
it's a good problem to have.
But the delivery I think is good as well, because like you say, and also you've got quite a big fan base, so it allows them to still support and still get their kind of their little taster of the food. But then the next stage on from delivery that I thought was more difficult is doing the DIY dinner kits. How do you maintain consistency and brand with that? A lot of the kitchens and chefs don't want to do that, because people will Instagram it, and they're concerned about, people are going to put food out, tag me in it, and what if it looks awful?
I think you're always exposed to that, though. But just like you're exposed with delivery, as soon as it leaves your hands and goes to the driver's hands, you're exposed to risk. So we worked with our butcher, who we trust and know really well, HG Walter. They're great, and we've done a couple of DIY kits with them. One was an Old Delhi chicken curry kit, and one was the Carolyn fried chicken more recently. And they were really great success stories, but especially whilst people are on lockdown. And I think we've seen a drop off in those. We're still working on some other ones that can go nationwide. Not quite happy with the quality of those yet, but we're working towards them. It's a process, and we're working with some great guys on those. So we'll see. I just don't know. I'm still unconvinced as to how much of a part of our lives they will become in the long term. I think everyone's kind of jumped on the bandwagon initially and thought, this is it. This is the way forward. But we're a creature of habits, and we like to go back to restaurants, and we like delivery. So how often are we going to order DIY kits? And maybe special one like barbecue ones for the summer. We did a few of those and saw quite a uptake in that. But we'll see. It's still work in progress.
I think we're seeing a lot of popularity with the DIY dinner kits in terms of chef cook-alongs. We're getting requests for that from clients that want to do cook-alongs for corporate events. So instead of doing business networking, which is always painful, I would definitely rather do a chef cook-along and then a Zoom conversation after. But I think I think I like the way that you guys have spent a lot of time to curate those, instead of, right, well, we need to bring in revenue, let's just do deliveries. Spent a lot of time maintaining the brand and the quality.
Yeah, and the key thing for us has been we made White City, especially in the first sort of 4 to 6 weeks of reopening, our central production kitchen. So we were making all the food there for the delivery in Brixton as well, just sending it down every evening, and from White City, and doing all the prep for the kits, and anything else we were doing was all from one kitchen. So we could keep it tight, keep it controlled, and sort of gradually open up without going too big too soon, basically.
And what do you think have been, I mean, obviously, other than shutting, what have been the biggest challenges for the business during lockdown? So there's obviously this food side, but what about in terms of staffing and kind of looking after the business in that sense?
Yeah, I think that's probably the biggest challenge, because just obviously, the furlough scheme's been amazing, but it's still hard to interpret in many ways, and every staff is different, and gradually bringing them back. We've been very fortunate to. We've almost got pretty much all our staff back now. I think by the end of September we'll have everyone back, and that falls in line almost with when employers really have to start contributing. So I think we've managed that really well. It's been difficult, but I think we've managed it really well. You just can't afford to bring too many staff back too soon when the sales aren't there. That's the end of it if you do. So we really bring our operations back in line with the consumer demand as well, and I think that's the key, really.
Did you have any means for kind of keeping in touch with them all? Because obviously, as an agency, we work remotely. We can keep in touch with on Slack and all these things, but so it's very different when you're running a restaurant and have kitchen staff. And did you have any kind of ways for keeping everybody morale?
We did a lot of staff cook-alongs, actually. Every Thursday night during lockdown, we did a curry staff cook-along. So we'd have anywhere between 10 and 15 of the staff on Zoom, on screen, and Will, the head chef, would be taking them through, and that was really great. We felt a sense of community from that. And I would say, just generally, there's no excuse not to keep your staff updated. It takes 10 minutes to write a nice email to them every few weeks and update them the situation and wish them well and all those kind of things. And that's my role, and that's the role of my our head of people. So I just don't think it doesn't matter how big a company you are. I don't think it takes much to do that. And so those are the ways we stay in touch. And then obviously when we came back and brought sort of, I think maybe a third of the staff back to the start initially, and we had a big meeting together and went through things. That was really nice to see everyone back.
And that's one of the things I liked seeing on the feed after we worked with you guys, is that you're going away and taking the whole team, like not just two of you, not just you and Will going to India to try the food. A massive team went out there, and if you don't try the food, you can't sell it.
That was basically the last kind of proper trip, apart from the Amsterdam one I just told you about. We went to India in January with, I think it was 8 of the staff, maybe, or 6 or 8. Long-term chefs and head chefs and management, and it was just really great. We went to Mumbai, and we did a pop-up in Soho House, which was great. Had a few front of house and chefs with us, and then we did the tour of Mumbai, and showed them all the places that Will and I have experienced in the last few years. And then Will and I went on to Hyderabad with our head chef of Kricket Soho, because he's from there, and went to the real places of Hyderabad with him and his friends and family, and it was just great. So
I think that's got to be the real testament to the food. When you go and do a pop-up in the country that influenced your cuisine, and I looked at that, because we've got Little Yellow Rice Co, and thought, I don't know if I am brave enough to go back to Penang and do a pop-up for my whole family. So I think that's a real testament to the quality of the food and the way you've evolved it, because it's Indian flavors but made with British ingredients. So you've got the kind of fusion of those. So it's very impressive that you went over. And I think I saw the pictures. It looked like it was a busy event. And
it was good. I think Indian people are very open and honest as well. So, and we had really good feedback. So, and it was quite interesting, because obviously it was in Soho House, so it's a bit of an international community. And there were people there who had eaten in the Crickets in London, which was just really cool. So we were talking about doing one next year. At the time, I think things have changed a little bit now. I think India's not the best place to go in terms of the pandemic, but maybe another time would be good to do it.
Okay. So the other thing I wanted to ask, very interestingly, is about your career change from accountancy to being a restaurateur.
Yeah.
And obviously we know why it happened because you and Will had this conversation. But how have you found it? Are there any transferable skills? Are there any accountants out there that feel like they would maybe like to get into the food trade? How would you recommend it?
I mean, being an accountant or aside, I would just say, it's a very difficult industry to be in. And I think a lot of people look at restaurants as gold mines. And I think now, actually, it's taken a pandemic to really show that our industry is very, very tight and very sensitive.
Very
and,
fragile.
Yeah, very fragile and needs the support. So, I wouldn't encourage anyone from any industry just to jump straight into the restaurant industry and think they're going to be all right. But my accountancy background has definitely been a bonus. Our directors are me and Will. Will is the creative, IP sort of genius behind the food, and I have all the accountancy skills. And it's the perfect combo really for a restaurant. And our investor, I think, we're investable because of the both of us, not just because of Will. So it's been very, very handy. Just the business acumen helps in terms of strategy and the decisions you make. So it was, when we opened the pop-up, I'd never worked in a restaurant before. I'd worked in a bar, before my gap year, all that kind of classic jazz, but not really worked in a proper restaurant. And I hadn't even been to India as well. So that was quite weird. And I had to learn a lot. And I remember the customers would ask me, they were like, "Oh, how was your time in India?" Because they'd heard about the kind of the story of the boys in India, but it was actually Will. And I'd be like, "Oh yeah, his time was really great." And I was like, "Well, we really need to go to India soon because I'm getting asked a lot of questions whilst you're in the kitchen."
Yeah.
So yeah, no, business skills, business background, I think are useful in any industry. I love the restaurant industry, but I feel like I could transfer those skills into anywhere outside of accountancy.
I do think it's probably a very good combination because when you go into food business, your love is mainly around the food, and you do need someone there that can work out the costings because it's very different. I always say to people, like, it's very different cooking for 6 people and them loving it to then trying to make a living out of it. So I do think it's quite like the perfect combo because you've got someone who's a little bit more practical and understands the figures of like what to do. So
I think a lot of otherwise you can get carried away in sort of vanity projects, and it takes you months to realize you're actually not making any money. So ultimately, every business has to make money to survive, pay your staff, and I think a lot of people don't realize that in our industry, and just sort of, I see people signing leases and doing things, and you're just like, what is going on? They haven't even done a fag packet calculation on anything. They're just the heads there, or they're just a creative, and that's fine. Not creatives don't necessarily have to have business heads. They soon learn though. I mean, I look at Will now versus Will when we started, and he has to understand everything that I understand as well, because we've got to make serious decisions now. We've got a lot on a lot of responsibility. So when we started out, it was a case of, well, you do that and I'll do this. Now we really understand each other's roles and a lot more. So.
And the other thing that I don't think gets mentioned about Kricket is your charity side, the charity works that you guys have done, and pretty much from the start, isn't it? From I think not long after you had the shipping crate, you also started.
Well, we've always done bits and bobs, but more so than ever, there's 2 charities that we work with a lot. One is WaterAid, which 12 months before lockdown, we raised around £25,000, I think it was, across. I say our customers helped by, £1 on the bill for unlimited filtered, still and sparkling water. It's such an easy one, I think it's great for everyone. We raised about 25,000 over the last 12 months. So that's amazing. And we love what those guys do, Baloo and WaterAid. And then the other is we work with a charity that's very close to Will's heart, called Apni App. It's a women's collective in central Mumbai and red light district that supports victims of prostitution. And we been out there. We go out there every year, and we took our staff there last time, which was amazing. They loved it. And we do various events like the Chef Series that's coming up from next week at White City. We donate all profits to that, and whatever we can do. But also, I always say to people about charity, you've got to be realistic about yourself as well. you know, I feel like we are almost a charity at the moment, the way things have been going over the last
Yeah.
4 months. So while I'm always keen to do charity, I'm always realistic about what we can actually offer, what we can do, and ultimately, my business survival, my staff jobs are more important first, and then if we can do charity, then we do it, of course.
Yeah, I think like one thing I wanted to showcase on this chat is that Cricket is such a well-considered brand in my eyes anyway, from, you know, the branding and the authenticity, and, you know, the you have everything. You have these DIY dinner kits, and the recipe book, and, you know, the fact that you really engage with the staff. I think it's a really well-considered street food kind of, or a brand for us to follow in your steps when we do Little Yellow Rice Co. And that actually prompted me to think, like, okay, so I'm over here making money for Little Yellow Rice Co. What am I going to send back to Malaysia? Because that's the culture that I'm trying to carry the torch for. So
yeah, well, we did a trip to Malaysia last year, actually, with Malaysian Airlines. Yeah, we did that collaboration with them, which was great. And we went to Penang. We spent 4 days in Penang, and I
it's the best place. I'm a little bit biased, but it's the best tourist capital in the world.
Yeah, no, it's really great. I've got a great local tour guide there as well, if you ever wanted. I'm sure you know loads of people already, but
yeah, well, I think that's the thing, you know, like I said, I took Rob and I went back last year because Rob loves Asian food, but there's no way we could have done Little Yellow Rice Co without him going and trying it and experiencing it.
Exactly, yeah.
So
but, you know, you bring that enthusiasm, those stories to the restaurants, and I think that's what we still do now. Even more so now. I've been to India 3 or 4 times, I think now. You know, we've had taken our staff there, like we said, and obviously we'll live there for 2 years. So, you know, it's really important to connect with the culture and the country that you're actually doing the food for. So
100%. The next question I had for you was, what are the plans for the future? So there was the chef series is next.
Yeah.
So it's guest chefs, isn't it, as well, that you're doing?
Yeah, so we do it in September. So we call it September Chef Series, and we do a guest chef on Tuesday to cook alongside Will. We're only doing 3 Tuesdays this year, just because of everything that's going on. But it starts next week. We've got A Wong joining us on next Tuesday, and then Vivek Singh, who Will trained under before he went, or when he came back from Mumbai. So that's really relevant. And then Nuno Mendes, who's, you know, been a big fan of ours since we were in the shipping container. He actually lives just down the road from me. He's a lovely chap. And obviously he's got a Portuguese sort of Goa connection. So really exciting. And like I said, all profits go to Amp the App. So yeah, we love doing this. We've even got some, like, a real top name booked in already for next year, which I can't reveal. But yeah, it's a great event, really great event.
What's the premise? Is it a cook-off, or is it?
No, it's a prepaid ticket. So I think it's £50 a head and gets you included cocktail, and you get set sharing menu with whoever you're with. Menus curated sort of a few days before, and Will and the guest chef will be on the pass for all to see. So yeah, it's really cool. It's really good.
And one question we've had from one of our people that are following us, Natasha, who loves good food. I can say I know Nat. She's saying, what are your favourite places in London to eat?
I knew I was going to get that question. Do you know what? I went there last week. And these guys actually did the guest chef series with us last year. I live in Islington, and we have Perilla down the road from us in Newington Green, and those boys are just so spot on. That the food, every time I go there, it's just top.
What kind of cuisine is it?
Sort of modern European.
Okay.
Modern European, and they're great. Ben and Matt over there. Ben's the chef. Yeah, like I said, they did last year with us. That's my favourite go-to neighbourhood restaurant, without a doubt.
Mine is just anything that's got a 1-star rating in Soho for Chinatown.
Yeah,
I absolutely love.
Yeah, Will's favourite food is Chinese, so if you want to ask about that.
Yeah.
I'd say, you know, I've always been inspired, and I love the Palomar guys.
Nat's saying she has been to Perilla. I'm not surprised. She's been everywhere.
There you go. Yeah. I love that restaurant. So, yeah, I know. There's always a list of places I want to go to as well. It's never ending. So, you know.
We're set to go to Borough Market. I've never been. I grew up in Kent, and I've never been to Borough Market. So that's on our list, is to head down and
plenty
and
of
try
places
it.
there as well. So
Yeah.
I haven't been for a while, actually. I mean, it always used to be too busy. I bet now it's probably like, the opposite. So no,
Yeah,
some
now
great
is the
restaurants
time
out
to
there.
go.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Well, thank you so much. I think we've given everyone a real taste for what cricket is about. Excuse the pun.
Nice. Hopefully.
And obviously, when do you say you might be having a national kind of delivery service happening at some
No,
point?
not national delivery service, but we're looking at some of the kits maybe that we can roll out nationally. Just haven't got them right just yet. We're very much we want to control our quality like everybody does, so it doesn't go out until it's ready and the process is smooth. So our focus at the moment really is on current operations, of course, getting them back to max capacity, and I think we're doing that really well. We're not. There's only so much we can. There's only a certain point we can get to at the moment with the restrictions, but I'm very pleased with the direction we're going. We're working on something else interesting in Soho at the moment. Can't say too much about, but it's just kind of support Cricket Soho. Cricket Soho's queue once hopefully it comes back. Well, I mean, we've been looking at doing stuff in Amsterdam for the last 12 months before all this happened. We were going to do a kitchen takeover there around about now, actually. So obviously that's been delayed. But in terms of, sort of big expansion, more sites, I think at the moment, we're seeing what comes our way. There's a lot, despite, us trying to survive, there's also a lot of opportunity. They tend to go in the same sentence, weirdly, but there's a lot of opportunity around. So it's hard to say what will be next.
Yeah, I think everyone's in that, just steadying the ship. So we're starting our events after 6 months hiatus. So, but there's, like I said, there's a lot of opportunities, but also we're just steady away. So I think, but I think we can look to other brands that are doing it, and like I say, it's about. I think that you just have to try and think about having consistency in branding and what you set out to do, as well as trying to steady away over the next couple of months.
Exactly. Core business is still important, and then you top it up with other things. Core business, and look after your staff as well.
Yeah. And everyone everyone at ISOL service looked happy, so you've done a good job there. So for any of us that are based up north, we will have to wait and see what comes of these dinner kits for us to sample.
Yeah.
Otherwise, if you're going down, or if you're based down south, it is Soho, Brixton, and Whitechapel at present.
Well, White City, not Whitechapel.
White City. I always get it wrong.
That's all right. No worries. White. They're very opposite ends. White City's west, Whitechapel's east. So no, White City in the television centre, in the old BBC television centre, with the new Soho House, and it's a nice new development. I think it's going to be one for the next few years. So
so you've got 3 locations you can try from there. And we wait to see what comes next. There's always something good. So even if you don't, you can always buy the recipe book. We had a go at doing the breads.
Yes.
I don't think we had enough butter on it when Rob made it, to be honest, which is unusual for him as like French trained chef to not stick a load of butter on something. But
yeah, exactly. That's the main ingredient, isn't
it? So you can sample anything from have a go at the cookbook as well.
Yes, we'd love people to buy the cookbook.
Yeah, it's worth a try. I think you can definitely the breads. I'm always keen on trying to make the breads, but we'll have to wait till we come back down to have the dal and the breads again.
Yeah. And sometimes the simplest recipes are the best. Dal and bread.
Comfort food. It's comfort food.
Yeah.
I actually went home and told my mum after I came for dinner, because my stepdad's Sri Lankan and my mum makes quite a good dal. But I was like, it was fairly good dal, mum. So.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's important to have a good dal, definitely.
It is. And it's good comfort food. It always cheers you up.
Yeah.
So thank you so much for popping on this at last minute. We wait to see what happens next with you guys.
Yeah.
And thank you for everybody that's joined us. So this is going to get logged on our YouTube channel as well, so you can watch back. And we'll pin it to our Instagram as well. But it was lovely to see you face to face. We've only ever spoken on the phone, so it was lovely to see you face to face. All sounds like it's going well.
We were speaking all before lockdown, weren't we? If we'd spoken during lockdown, we would have been Zooming all the time. So
we spoke in January when everything seemed like it was going swimmingly.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay. Well, have a great day, and hopefully we'll see you again soon.
Yeah. All right. Take care.
Bye.